Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. I hope you're having a great day. Stay positive, stay focused. Let's get to it. What is the hot topic that's going on YouTube or Instagram? Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism.
We're the folks who lost the jobs we love because we love each other. And that is bottom line. And that is why we are here now. A lot of you understand that life, love, marriage, relationships can be messy, and usually are.
I think in the end, all of us are always rooting for love, and it doesn't always happen when you want it to happen, where you want it to happen, and it's undeniable when it's real, and it's something you have to navigate, and it's not easy. And anyone who's lived enough life, I think if they're really honest with themselves, can attest to the fact that relationships are hard, they're messy, they're not perfect, but we have fought for love, and I can say that I've never been happier. I am with my best friend. I'm not going to get cheesy. We have gone through, I think it's fair to say, a year of hell, but we have had each other through it all and had a lot of support from our family.
We're the folks who lost the jobs we love because we love each other. But bottom line, we have not said this. I'm in love with this woman and she's in love with me. And we are planning a life together. November 30th is the day. November 30th, 2022 was the day that we were, and this is very important, we were outed.
We were outed.
We were outed.
We were not caught.
By a publication that outed us. And so, to be clear, we were outed as being in a relationship, but everyone else thought we were being outed as adulterers, being outed as cheating on our spouses, and it wasn't the case, because the odd thing is that the day those pictures were taken and the day that article was released that outed us, we had both at that point were in divorce proceedings.
Yes, we had attorneys, mediators. We were in the middle of divorces.
But bottom line, we have not said this. I'm in love with this woman and she's in love with me. And we shouldn't have allowed, I can say that in hindsight, but for folks to find out about our relationship before they found out about our divorces. If people would have heard earlier, okay, they're out of their relationship, now they're dating, maybe an eyebrow would have been raised or something, but it wouldn't have become what it became. And look, at that point, my daughter, she's 10. I was still trying to get her adjusted to her new reality of her parents not being together. And I've been working on that for the past 3-4 months. So I didn't want to spring on her in that early that, oh yeah, by the way, that Amy Robach, who's actually you've known since you were 1, has been a part of it. Well, I'm dating her now. I didn't want to do that to her at the time, but I hadn't even told my mom about the divorce. So why the hell am I thinking about telling an executive at the network about it? We shouldn't have allowed, I can say that in hindsight, but for folks to find out about our relationship before they found out about our divorces.
Early August, it was very clear to anyone who knew me that I was in the middle of a divorce. TJ is a much more private person than me and just chose to keep that to himself. But it was hard because anyone who was a viewer or anyone outside of a very small circle didn't know that either one of us were getting divorced. So that was one of the challenges we had in the beginning. So we were trying to clear everything up. Everyone in my tight circle knew I was getting divorced. I took my ring off early August. It was very clear to anyone who knew me that I was in the middle of a divorce. TJ is a much more private person than me and just chose to keep that to himself. But it was hard because anyone who was a viewer or anyone outside of a very small circle didn't know that either one of us were getting divorced. So that was one of the challenges we had in the beginning. So we were trying to clear everything up. Everyone in my tight circle knew I was getting divorced. And that was something I had never experienced before in my life, where I just didn't want to get up. I didn't want to see what new headline was going to be out there. And that has been such an eye-opening experience. And then to feel like, who is still behind me? Who supports me? Will I work again? Will I be ever trusted again? That I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I just celebrated 10 years. So I used to always say that 2013 was the worst year of my life, the hardest year of my life. But I look back now, and it's interesting when you go through cancer. Yes, you're afraid that you're going to die, but you're fighting to live. And you've got all these people around you supporting you and cheering you on and saying, you've got this. And you feel this collective hug from people who are lifting you up when you're scared and you're going through all of these treatments. But this year, I wanted to die. There were days where I wanted to die. And that was something.
Well, then you had to do a welfare check, I guess, is the best way to put it.
It was 3:40. That's a very, very understated way of putting it. At 3:45 p.m. that afternoon, you sent me a text basically saying, I'm sorry. You were the love of my life. I'm so sorry this has happened. And you just kept saying you were sorry, but you were using past tense in the entire text. And I texted back and I said, you're scaring me. Please tell me you're okay. No response. I called, I'm calling you. I call, he doesn't answer. I FaceTime him. He doesn't answer his FaceTime. And now I'm getting calls from work, producers trying to get in touch with him. He's not answering anybody. I start to panic, and my parents were there with me. And I didn't want to betray him by reading a text that he sent to me, to my parents, but I was so afraid that he had.
Well, then you had to do a welfare check, I guess, is the best way to put it.
It was 3-4. That's a very done something. And I read it out loud to my mom and dad, and I started to cry. And my mom looked at me and she was like, you have to go down there right now. You need to go check. And my dad said, I'm coming with you. And my dad came in with me, and I saw you, and you were just splayed out on your bed. And I ran to you. I said, TJ, and you didn't move. And I remember it was the most awful thing, having to touch your body to see if you were warm. I was so afraid. I said, baby, tell me you're okay. Tell me you're okay. And you were kind of just making no sense, but I knew you were alive, and I knew you were going to be okay.
That was the night, but the day was essentially me getting off work at 11 a.m., and I immediately started pounding vodka. And I didn't stop for the several hours, and then I took who knows how many weed edibles, and that's how I ended up in the state I was in.
Yeah, done something. And I read it out loud to my mom and dad, and
So, moral of the story is they had filed for divorce, but the network did not know. Their families did not know. Their children did not know. Well, TJ's child did not know. But then to also think that Amy was concerned about being here for herself, it was just too much pressure. And then the week of, TJ, in regards to consuming a lot of alcohol and edibles, just think if Amy wouldn't have gone over there. This is a lot. This is a lot. And I get that their podcast needs to be a wow. But to put that out there, that's a wow. And they probably put it out because they didn't want somebody else to put it out. But to fall in love with someone at work, file for divorce, the network does not know. And then to say you guys got caught. Whoever was there, I'm wondering who had them trailed. And why would they have them trailed? Because you figure you filed for divorce, why are you being trailed? You know, if I'm divorcing you, why would you have me trailed if you know that I'm divorcing you? And did the spouses know that they were leaving for one another? I'm filing for divorce from you because I want to be with Amy. Or is it just I want to file from you because I just want to file for divorce? You know what I mean? So well wishes. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe.